So those are our 8 athletes, Shauna, and 3 of them will have tickets. Those are our top 8 athletes. They're introduced earlier on, but just a chance for you to get another look at them. Jain Kim qualifying in last place, so she'll climb first. Janja Garnbret in first place, so she will climb last. And that is Boulder 1. And Shauna, a good opportunity for us to look at these zones, the new scoring opportunities.
Yeah, the scoring is very different to a boulder competition, so a Boulder World Cup or World Championships, and it's different on the lead as well. And that is because we are combining 2 sports, so lead and boulder together. You can't do that on a multiplication system with rankings. It just doesn't work. Too many ties, too many opportunities for ties. So a point system was invented. Lots of talk and lots of testing and attempts to make a system that works, and ultimately this is what was come up with.
If you're listening to the lady on my right, Shauna Coxsey, former athlete, master of movement, and she really knows what she's talking about, having experienced it literally on one of these stages before. Shauna now has that left hand on underneath, right hand through with the thumb.
You can really see her back foot camming there, and then she releases the foot just as she goes into that dynamic movement.
And this is the move she dropped before, a big throw over to the left. Tried a 1-2, minus 0.1 for the attempt to it when she fell before it was locked in.
And a serious nod from her just before pulling on. She looked like she means business.
She does. She's on her return. You mentioned earlier a young daughter, and when we interviewed her, she said she wanted to prove to her daughter that... Hang on, we're going to watch this first of all before I talk about Jain Kim's daughter. Gets ready for the throw. She's dropped statically.
Yeah, so she planted her left foot really solid in the wall, allowing her to take that right hand off really statically. Looked like she wanted to go feet first, but I don't think that's going to work. I do think now Annie knows what she needs to do on that move. She might change things up and try and be a bit more dynamic and a bit more committing, less hesitation in the moment. We saw her have a little slip on that first move. Sometimes when your eyes and your focus is on that later move, it can be possible to slip up a little bit, but she did pull back on and get it on the next attempt.
So she's in once more to this move. Powerful early on in the women's competition. She's eyeing it up. She's got 5 points already. Wants that 10. Sets herself. Oh, what a swing.
A huge backswing with that leg, flicking it up in the air. She hit both holes, the right hand not so well, but the left hand perfectly. Took a huge swing on that hold, and now we see her approaching the last moves.
All right, so Annie approaching the top of the boulder. It's worth 25 points, remember. She's adjusting that left hand, moves it around, trying to make space for her foot, I think, in that pocket.
We know that the hold that she's maybe going up for isn't the best hold. It's positive, but not good enough to swing around on, and she does miss it.
Again, she's only got 22 seconds. She's got to be quick here. And this is what we see with this new format, athletes going right to the very last seconds to try to get the extra points. That match always looks scary when she does it, but she makes it work. 4 seconds left. Can Annie do this? It's not going to be enough time. She's up to the pinch. Still only 26, which blows my mind. I feel like I've been watching her forever climb out on those mats.
I mean, compared to Annie Sanders, you've been watching her for a decade.
Point,
so.
Yeah. Yeah, big difference between those two. And holding that swing without the toe, that's strong.
A different approach, really accurate in the hands, showing that Jessie is feeling confident.
Yeah, powerful start from her. So she's immediately in, but not scoring points yet. Now she will, as she adjusts, swings that body over. Flicks with the leg, crosses over, and she's straight into the high point as well.
I said it looked like she was feeling confident, and it's definitely showing. Wow, that was such great work from Jessie. She is looking like she's on fire right now.
Yeah, she's not messing around. Left hand on the pinch, trying to get the feet sorted. It's awkward, it's blocked, and it's no texture on top. Hit the pocket, nearly on the zone, but that won't count for the 25 points. Just the difference between that method and Annie's is so interesting to look at. But you were saying, you know, she's got to recover. That method does look more physical. Hits the high zone, gets the score again, but she's already got that to her name, remember, so it's all about just the top of this boulder now.
Wow, that's really interesting beta from Jessie there. A little beta break, I think. I don't expect the route setters tried that method. Such great work from Jessie. She is happy with that. She gets that 25 points.
It's all body position, just making the athletes do strange things up there on the wall.
For sure, if there are big holds on the wall, you know those moves between them are not easy. They are big, but not too big for the athletes. Of course, we have shorter athletes making them work. And a great stick from Miho there.
Yeah, she's going to do one of those Houdini flips, I think, where she adjusts her hand. She's got the right hand in it now, powers up towards the pinch, and that thumb pressing on the no-tech zone. It's slippy.
And now we'll see if she's thinking to use the left toe hook, which she does seem to be trying to find. She's kind of figuring it out. Shift to the left. She's pulling on with 20 seconds to go. She's got the 10 points. She's looking for a top here, but she needs to be speedy.
Yeah, 10 seconds comes up on the clock now. Miho's going to have to motor, hits the left, makes the swing work. 5 seconds, it's not going to be enough time to do this. And she does drop down, just saving that last bit of energy and skin.
For this moment, they train relentlessly. There is so much time, effort, preparation, dedication that goes into this moment. So, yeah, it's almost hard to describe how much this means because of all that preparation, because of the intensity and everything that surrounds this event. Here we start to get a look of Boulder 2, and that is because this finals is a little bit different. So we will see 2 climbers on the wall next. Our first 4 climbers have competed on Boulder 1, and then we'll see Jain Kim come out on Boulder 2 and Brooke Raboutou on Boulder 1.
She has the potential to see things, and Brooke is about to launch on Women's 1. Straight in for Brooke Raboutou.
Brooke looking smooth, looking confident, looking happy. That was a really great start from her, straight into that 10 zone.
She's up with the left hand pinch, makes room, changing that right hand into an undercling.
I wondered if we see any athlete try and get the foot in the 10 zone, if it was going to be one of them, it was going to be Brooke first, I thought, into that hold that is not a good hold at all, matching the 25.
Risky thing to do in a combined final when we're giving away Olympic tickets.
Obviously not to her, I guess. So she's trying that stand-up method again now. What she will have done is when she stood up that first time, how it felt, it didn't feel good enough for her to justify having a second go at that. And the temptation of trying to explore a different method is just too much. The foothold that is on the climb, so the yellow hold that's on the black hold next to her, to the right, you can just see there, it is very positive. If she can get her fingers to it, she can hold on. So you're gaining all the momentum from your legs in the stand-up, and then your hips need to stop at the perfect moment, close into the wall, directly above the feet, and using those thumbs to stand up. She switches the feet in order to shift the hips to the right. A really, really good movement from her, and such great learning and maturity in her ability to figure that out her own way. However, she does only have 50 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, trying those different methods has not given her much time, and this is the move, this is the spin move. She looks like she's spotted it straight away. She's beginning this rotation, but the clock is ticking and she'll be able to see the clock from her angle.
And we just got a look at the little jib, so you can see her right hand is starting to crimp something. There's a little tiny screw on hold underneath that. She pivots and turns. That little hold she's reaching down towards is very, very bad. It is terrible.
She's young, she has a unique style when she climbs, love watching it, and she's trying to figure out this first sequence.
Yeah, this first move I wouldn't expect Oriane to slip up on, but she did on her first attempt. I expect she knows Brooke just flashed, so there's the added pressure on top of her, but she quickly corrected her mistakes. But let's check out Anastasia Sanders on the slab as well, because both athletes are making really good progress here.
Yeah, she's straight in, not using that dimple down left. Oriane catches the left hand, so she's got those 10 points, and Annie begins this spin, reaching down towards the volume.
We know that the boulder on the left, so the slab boulder, is possible without the twist and the pivot, so we may see athletes trying different things. Oriane, meanwhile, she is nearing the top section, but looking to struggle a little bit, looking a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, that left foot sliding on the no-text. Yeah, as you
can see, there is a very positive hold, but there are blockers around it to make that move really high risk. She looked so much better, and to find a great body position on that spin. So I do hope we see her up there again. She's got enough time. Meanwhile, Oriane back on Boulder 1. She will be really looking for a top here. Those points are going to be so important.
Sliding off that left hand though that time, minute 17 on the clock. Stressful times here as Annie, again, she has the right foot in. And with this spin, you'd expect her to do it a little quicker. Now she's got that movement in her body.
And just to explain a little squeak that you might have heard there, almost all of the time to stand on the tips of your toes so that you can pivot when you need to. This is a great example of that. You will see her heel turn so much so that she can move around. Maybe hear that squeak as we just did. Her right heel getting closer and closer to the wall to allow her hips to turn, her knee to stop pointing forwards. That's when she can step her foot out. A great save there. She wasn't in a good position. Oriane back on the 10-2.
Yeah, so look at the scoreboard down on the left. Annie hasn't got this second zone yet. She'd like it to keep in touch. Oriane drives the left foot into the jib, stands up into the pinch. And how will she do this move? But again, their time.
I and I are staying at the same hotel, so I see her at breakfast most mornings, and I asked her how she was feeling and if she was excited, and a huge smile spread across her face. It was so good to see, and she's really happy about being in this round.
So Jessie has stood up on the 5. Good work from her immediately. Right foot down, and she adjusts it to try to find the right point. It's fairly hard to see, and straight away into that move. Good work from her. And using a slightly different method, but now doing that match, and I loves matching holds like that.
Yeah, she is really good at it, and we see Jessie start to do the twist. She's rotating, looking a little bit uncomfortable. You could see she was really bent in that arm, shoulders quite tense. Slabs are always hard to relax into. It does feel like the route setters have been really innovative this season and trying to be as creative as possible. Like you say, they need to test these athletes. They can't just put a basic boulder on the wall anymore because all the athletes are so strong. Here we see Jessie trying to get that foot over, and you saw it was a great shot of her wiggling it in. It's blocked, it's awkward to find, and it was really good to see how tricky it is to get the foot really well on the hold, and also how uncomfortable it is just in that position. She's very tense in the shoulders again, trying to pivot. We see her hips twist, so now her hips have turned and they're almost parallel with the wall. That should help get the weight through her foot, but her heel is still quite far pointed out, so I talked about Annie's knee.
She's waiting there. Now pulls into the starting position, makes the jump, floating through that move. Has a left hand in, gets a high right toe, and then she will bump into the 5 on the left.
Most athletes we've seen successful in this jump have really swung their leg. So their left leg...
Figured something or seen something in that go.
Definitely, and the clap of the hands means a lot. She had fire in her eyes when she looked up after that fall. I think she might know how to do it now.
All right, so she has a 53 seconds to get this done. That's the dimple. Somehow she's got 2 fingers in it.
But she's trying a different method. She's crossing through with her foot. We know this is possible. We've been told it's not as easy, but it is the way for Jessie. Great climbing from her that she's able to figure that out as she's on that stage. It's not an easy thing to do, but finding your own method is the exact thing you need to do in that moment. Can she stick the 25?
That's massive for Jessie. I mean, look at her score jumping. The less work they have to do in lead later on, it's so important as a progression.
You say the less work, but they still have to put the work in on lead. Come on.
Second in lead, but watch this woman on a boulder wall. But will pressure start to play its part in Janja Garnbret's psychology? We know she's human, and this is a huge moment for the Slovenian athlete.
It sure is, but she's looking comfortable, she's looking happy. We were told that some of the athletes might be strong enough to do this statically. If you were going to put money on one doing it, it'd be Janja Garnbret, and she is looking smooth right now, as is Miho Nonaka.
Yeah, such confidence at the moment from both women, but Janja reaches up, holds the dish. What finger strength to stick that. That's almost impossible to hold that move.
We saw the foot slip, we saw her hold the hold we were told isn't possible to hold without going quickly, but Janja Garnbret does it. Meanwhile on the slab, Miho into the 10, I believe on her first attempt. This is really good climbing, not opting for the spin, committing to her method that she knew would work on her first attempt, but we know this last move is way harder than Jessie made it look. It's easy to slip up. Miho starting to go static. It's supposed to be a big dynamic stand-up into a really precise position. Hopefully she sticks it. She's going to stand, reach the bottom foot to herself on boulder 2. She's posted on Instagram that she is so stoked to be here to push to her limits on the wall once again. Let's do it. So here you are, Miho. We want to see it.
We do. Now's the moment to shine. 1 minute 34 left. Into that dimple. 2 fingers pinching it.
Different to Jessie, she's gone for a foot swap. We know that hold is blocked. We know how hard that foot swap is, holding the dimple, making it look like a good hold. There is nothing there at all, but really smooth climbing from Miho.
Yeah, the setter said you have to have strong feet to do it like that. What's her feet like for this move? She needs to stand up high into the final. She pops that foot, comes down.
Taken down. Come, Miho, get on the wall.
46 seconds now. She brings the right foot. This press, easy now for her. Thumbs in action. See if she does the foot swap again. Has the right foot drilled into it, into the dimple. Watch that left foot. It's risky, but she makes it work, and kicking over to the right to stop the fall. Hits the 10. Remember, she already has that. It's just the top needed. And you can see how bad that foot is, just that jib in a no-tech zone.
Yeah, it's really tiny, and she has to stand up really tall. She swings out. What we saw Jessie do, she hit that hole. It's hard not to have Janja as a favourite. Of course, we don't have favourites, but she and Brooke both have 25 points in second and third, but they still have another boulder to go.
And this is boulder number 3 we're looking at here, and it's the powerful one of the set, perhaps. Big moves between slopey holds, and when myself and Shauna were out there on the mats earlier on, you could feel the heat, and I'm concerned about friction. I'm just putting it out there. But a start underneath on a good hold, and then a big moves out.
Very big moves, really powerful. We say big moves, maybe not that far apart, but where you're coming from, their moves are going to feel huge. We know the ending is incredibly physical too. Very bicep-y, actually.
Oh,
She's
I have
lovely.
to word. I've always wondered. I've just always felt a bit embarrassed to ask.
For anyone wondering what might be in there, she's not got a load of secrets. It'll probably be a different set of shoes, some mortar, liquid chalk, tape in case she starts bleeding. Yeah. Nothing too suspicious.
I'm not implying she's cheating. Please don't get me wrong there. All right, Jain jumps up. She hits that left hand, but now you can see the big move we were talking about to launch outwards on a steep bit of wall. And Brooke, again, all of them have spotted this twist as a possibility, and they're trying it.
You say that, but Miho straight into the other method, not to pull you
No,
up.
no, you're right. You're totally right.
We didn't see Miho try that, which I thought was really impressive from her to commit to that. They've read this route together. We saw them on the mats twisting around, so we know they all know it's a possibility. Brooke now thinking something different, stepping down. That will work for Brooke much compared to a normal boulder competition. So she's got a lot of attempts to gain that 25. Now knows a method that will work. I think we'll see her try that again, if I'm honest, because she was very close to hitting it. I thought she was going to try something different then and prove me wrong, but she doesn't. She hits it way better, straight into that hold and smoothly into this last move. All eyes on Brooke as she sets up for this big last move.
Yeah, it's a long way up there. So she sets, powers through the right, and this time holds it. What is Brooke Raboutou on at the moment? And Jain Kim as well.
So she hit the toe hook, which is actually what the route setters intended. Jessie doing it slightly different. Brooke catching a left toe, smart climbing from her, quick to realise. And Jain Kim suddenly looking like she's getting involved in this boulder number 3.
Yeah, she wraps her hands around it, maximum skin if possible. And then she will rotate the feet if she can, dropping back down to those first massive ball that's been screwed onto the wall. Presses with the right hand. And look at that foot camming against the wall and the hole, trying to find some friction and purchase there. Oh, my skin is aching watching this as she slides down. Miracles can occur here. So she's got the left foot, both feet now. And look at this move, high above her head, just using it to adjust, feet first. And a clever adjustment from that first go when she was jumping out.
You can see here she's got her right foot hooked on the volume. She's got a heel hook and then she cammed it in and then she changes it to a toe. She's so good at adjusting her body and how she uses her hands and her feet. Really wise in her movements and really technical in her ability to use her feet to keep her on the wall. They haven't had a good start, or whether they're going to be more fierce and feisty because they know these points matter. It can go either way, and we will see as they pull onto these climbs now.
So Oriane's up into the 5, first time of asking. Drops down to the foot. I can't wait to see which method she'll think of. Will it be the twist? Will it be the foot swap?
It's not going to be the twist, and we know that because she's swapped her hands around. So her first, or what she's going to try first, will be staying in close. Now we see her go back, and now we see her change her mind again. She's being indecisive on the wall, but trying different things and doing it very quickly, not wasting energy. She opted for the same method as Brooke there, quite quick, a step through with her foot, not swapping her feet and trying to reach down to that 10. I expect her to try that again because she didn't look too far off.
So that's Oriane's thinking process. She might have figured something out here. Annie Sanders, meanwhile, hits the big hold. Let's watch Oriane, see what adjustments she makes to this. We saw her try it both ways. She's got plenty of time, 2:45 on the clock. Annie gets a left heel as well. And Oriane in, good finger strength to drop into that hold.
Great accuracy, really good finger strength, like you say. And quickly back on the wall. She didn't take long to rest and reset at all.
No, Oriane needs points, and she's not going to get it with that time. Missed the left pinch. And look, we keep talking about you have to hit it with two hands, but you need to show control as well.
So with the two hands, if you hit the left hand really high and flip the right like Jessie did, yes, that'll work. But if she catches the toe hook, she only needs one hand, just like Brooke. The intended method is to hit just one hand and catch the toe hook. Annie Sanders, meanwhile, the first athlete we see hitting the 5, so the second athlete on the climb, Jain Kim not getting quite through the start, but Annie looking strong right now, but starting to seem like she's having to fight to just stay on the wall because those holds there, they are really bad. They are not in-cut in the slightest. They are slopey open pinches, and your thumb is on the no texture part of the hold, so really slippery.
Well, Brooke drops down again into the finger move. Sorry, Oriane, did I say Brooke then? Goodness me, my brain's melting. Oriane gets the right foot up, stands. Can she hit it this time? Adjust with the right hand. That's the match and the control. That right hand adjustment was crazy to watch.
In a high pressure environment where she had to make very quick decisions in order to get those points. These points are so important. Top number of attempts to top suddenly feels like it goes out the window a little bit because it's all about getting points on the board.
And points on the board is what Annie Sanders is trying to do here, but this boulder, the most powerful, and it will be draining all of her energy as she goes again on it. It's long as well.
It really is. It's long, it's physical, it is powerful. It's going to be zapping them. And there's a lead route to go, not very long, so the athletes need to be really clever about how they manage their energy out here.
And Annie drops down.
The attempts are really important.
Every go might count, we don't know. And this is the thing, we're sort of trying to predict the future here a little bit as we look ahead to the lead. And Jessie has a toe in and now a heel, and Mori on the slab straight up into that press. And as we said, that move, Jain made it look quite reachy, quite a long way away, but with some power moves up towards it, finds the press quickly.
And also landing in a really solid position. Slabs are often about the position that you end in. Yes, you need the power and the strength to stand into that position, but where you land is really important.
Now, Jessie is making good progress early on here, which I think is important on a power boulder like this, because as we saw, the more attempts start to drain you, she makes the match, and she's one move away from the high zone. Gets it with the left and gets that crowd reaction. She'll make sure the scoring drops back down, but she has been awarded it.
She's awarded the 10 because she did an adjustment on it. You saw her grab it, bump again, move her body slightly. Therefore, she has the 10 in her pocket.
Oh, try hard face, but she goes down. But that high zone, that adjustment, like you said, could be vital here.
It is, and we see nearing the 10 on boulder number 2 as well. Great from her, seeing her drop that on her first attempt and then be so much more accurate on the second. She's got one move to go to get to the 25, but we know she needs to stick it. She doesn't. There's a huge barn door, so her left she just did, and I think she knows how to do it because she's pulling on really quickly, not resting a lot at all.
No, she's not, is she? Right, well, that's the action going on here. Minute 45 on the clock. See the lead wall in the background. And chalking up as she starts the journey towards the right. Adjusts with the feet. Drops down to the slab, making that move look casual.
Really impressive that she's able to repeat that move after dropping it on her first attempt. Learning very, very quickly and being able to repeat it is so crucial.
All right, big press up now, hits the match and holds the swing the second time of asking. It's amazing the contrast as well with these two bowled at the same time. As I leaves with joy, Jess's face serious with 50 seconds to go on the other side of the wall.
And we know this is the hardest boulder of the round. We've been told by the route setters, and we've stood up there and we've looked at them. It looks like the hardest boulder of the round too. And people will maybe have felt that in a normal gym situation, when in a competition we see a lot of athletes actually bleeding from their fingertips because they leave it all out there. They try harder than you could ever imagine. So that is maybe another reason we're seeing athletes walk away with time on the clock on boulder 3.
Yeah, good point. Different from that semi-finals where it was split between days. All right, so Janja is in on the slab. Miho takes a fall on boulder 3. Let's see which method Janja uses here. She's into the dimple. Goes back down. Looks like she's adjusting for the pivot, but then changes her mind.
Yeah, she seems maybe not sure, and there are different options. She knows this boulder's been topped. I expect she will anyway, because she'll have heard the reaction from the crowd. We do hear the little squeak every now and then from her shoe moving around. She commits to the cross through with the foot, sticking that hold first time. She is so incredibly accurate, and we'll see her now on the top move as she steps her right foot up and starts to set up.
Miho falls. Janja's standing though, she's one move away. But that slip, we've seen it a few times. Janja goes again, 2 minutes 18 on the clock. Miho upside down, such a powerful climber as well. She likes a move like this.
But much better from Miho, hits the 5, she'll have those points now, obviously with some minus points, and Janja again sticking the 10, about to set up for that final move. She'll be much more precise and considered in her attempt, I expect this time. Her brain and thoughts thinking about the feet this time.
Misses the 10 though, but Janja's in on the left. She gets the points. 2 in the morning last night with the power and speed. Wonderful photos of these athletes who are climbing right now. Miho launches out once more.
This boulder looks so burly. Really, you're having to wrestle and fight through this lower section where the wall is so incredibly steep, and then it doesn't let up as you near this upper section. These long holds, they are not in cut, they are not positive. You are just hanging and squeezing as hard as you can, having to use your feet to pull your hips so close to the wall. As we can see here from Miho, she gets the 10.
So let's try to keep updated with our scores if we can. And remember, this is hard to see because we're on different stages of this boulder competition with athletes climbing multiple boulders at the same time. At the moment, Jessica Pilz, 59.6. Janja and Brooke, 49.9. So they have climbed both of the first 2 boulders. Then Oriane, I'm Mori, Miho Nonaka, Anastasia Sanders and Jain Kim are our top 8. Well, we're looking at women's number 4 for the first time, and as is the pattern with all these boulders, it's long and complicated, and part of that is these 2 zones we keep talking about.
I'm really liking the 2 zones. I like the fact that they are tricky and making the climbers climb differently.
Well, if you're just joining us, welcome to Bern for the Boulder and Lead finals for the women. Here we give away some of our Olympic places. The top 3, the podium finishers, will get a ticket.
It feels like it's changed bouldering, and in my opinion, I like it. I think it's great. It's great to watch. It gives a little bit more away. Much easier to see what's going on the wall with a very obvious zones and point system. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I agree with you. I'm a big fan of this format. Well, Brooke Raboutou is straight away up and in, and she's having a brilliant finals, a real fire and determination in her eyes this evening. In the background, Jain Kim on women's 3. And Brooke, powerful moves to start off with as she goes towards that number 5. She's looking for a knee with that right. I think maybe she has got it in.
Yeah, she's pressing her knee next to her hands, and that's just to aid her hands, take a little bit of weight off her arms a little bit as she chalked up. Interestingly, she's chalking up on this climb in that roof, over 60 degrees steep. It's really impressive from her. Brooke is very good at using her heels, using her flexibility. You can see how open her hip is there, how far her knee is turned out, and her ankle is turned into the wall. Really, really really impressive climbing. She gets a high foot. She hasn't yet got the 10. If she can get it, like she is right now, she is in a much better position for this next move. She needs to stand up tall, hit that right hand, and be very, very solid in the bicep. But we saw a foot slip.
Upwards jumps into the starting press position. Swings that left around, almost kicking into the wall to stop that swing.
Yeah, it's a good hold that she's going for, but she did need to commit to it really, really decisively. And we see her do a paddle now.
Said mid-move, which is crazy on something so powerful. Up she goes with the left, and I love the way she brings that right foot up to stop the movement.
Yeah, very, very fast movements from Brooke. Smart climbing. She, like I said, is really good at using everything that she's got, as well as I mentioned that about Jain earlier. This boulder really showing the climbers' strengths, the ones who are able to get into positions that work for them, use their knees, use their heels, open their hips, and make these moves easier. Definitely not easy, because they are not by any means easy.
For sure, and she's got a minute to do this now. Brings up the left, bumps it around, now locks in a heel on the first zone hold. Look at this, shaking up once more from Brooke. It is warm out there with the lights and the crowd. Gets the left foot in, now aiming for the next zone. This is the hardest move, potentially, on the entire set.
It's possible for her. We see her pulling back on with not a lot of time left on the clock. So much action on the stage right now.
It's all go. Brooke Raboutou leaves. Jain Kim. Sort of tension that we've sometimes seen. Everyone is just, I'm walking around, leaning forward in their seat and screaming at the stage. Oriane trying to find that knee that we saw Brooke use so well to chalk up on.
Really great use of her heels, her flexibility, twisting and turning to get everything she can out of her feet. A hard foot move as she gets the foot nice and high, making the move to the 10 harder, but in a better position for this next move here. She didn't quite some surprises in the round already, with Oriane not topping the first boulder, and also she's now on the third boulder. She's going to be looking for that 25, but right now we see Anastasia Sanders setting up for this paddle jump. She did attempt it before and was relatively close. She's getting the hand over, but athletes may tape the ends of their fingertips to conserve skin as well. Yes, this is the final boulder of the round, but there is a lead route to come, so much more climbing for these women, and most of them really enjoying a lead rope and will be pushing to the absolute max. Just in both.
Oriane is up, hits that right foot. She's rested for a while before attempting this one. And we're coming up to the minute mark on this round. Drops down and under. Finds the right foot, hits the knee. She's got the reach to do it with the knee in as well, without the adjustment.
Climbing much quicker on this attempt. She knows the hold, she knows how they feel, and the body positions that she needs to find to make these moves work. Annie really close on the paddle there, and Oriane stepping that foot up. She's going to reach up into the 10. We'll see her try and stand as high as she possibly can, but we don't see it because of a foot pop.
Again, maybe. She's certainly thinking about it. Why not? Last boulder, pressing into the roof, jumping into the 5. 10 seconds to go, but a long way to the next high zone.
There are a number of different reasons. It may be that the holds are dirty. We saw when Janja's foot popped earlier, she asked for a brush straight away. We do see carpet on the mat here, which is important to note. A lot of climbing gyms don't have that, so it does help the shoes stay a lot cleaner. But one reason it can also be that the athlete loses concentration and doesn't put the right amount of pressure. Sometimes athletes put too much pressure or not enough. There are many different reasons for foot pops, but just thought I'd give a few of them there.
Exactly. Shauna's got questions on her Instagram, so you go and check those out if you want to ask comp questions. She has got quite a few of them, so I'm sure she will attempt to get to your question, especially if there's multiple questions on the same topic.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover them generally as we speak and not just pull out specific ones. Don't want to take eyes off the action, that's for sure. As I hits the 10 on boulder 3. This is a powerful climb, but she is looking really comfortable here. But can she make the next move? She started to try and swap. No, it doesn't matter how late she hits these zones. It's all really important points. yes, attempts do matter, but we see her hit the 5 zone now and set up for the paddle. We know that she's capable of doing paddles. She just needs to stay calm and collected and get her body in the right position.
Shine in different areas.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that it showcases their strengths, but it also exposes weaknesses, like we've said. The route setters have done a great job at setting a range of styles throughout these climbs. I think they've done a really excellent job throughout this entire competition. Jessie sticking the paddle, the first time we've seen that. Her hand hit that hold, it was not coming off this time. Nearing the 10 zone, she gets it, and now she gets the most exciting move of this climb with multiple different ways to do it. Let's see what she can do with this last move.
Out she goes towards the final hold, hits it with the left. She's taken a while to do that move though. She's going to have to get it next go with 46 seconds on the clock. Mori once more heading towards the high zone on her climb.
And all that climbing for Jessie to get to a move like that, if she wants to try it again, she still has to go all the way through those bottom moves, which we know are high-risk moves.
Mori with a try-hard face. Oh, so much power, slides off. Read these routes off camera. We showed a bit of a replay of them reading it earlier on. Shouldery moves to start with and campusing through.
And we know Janja loves a hard boulder, so hopefully she'll be satisfied with this one.
She thugs it out towards the 5, gets the heel in, pushes the toe on the wall. Miho as well hits the food, gets the shout in the background. There she is.
Both athletes making really quick progress on their first attempt and into the cruxes of both climbs at the same time. Watch both screens if you can, because Janja sticks the undercut into the 25, the only athlete to do so on Boulder 3, as Miho sets up for the last move on Boulder 4. It was all action right then. And then 100 points for topping the lead route. That is how a magical 200 would happen. But right now we see Miho with a very different method there, and really, really cool to stick that.
Yeah, she had the toe in underneath. Now she sets herself up for this move, brings the left foot back, kicking, crowd getting behind her. She steadies once more, big swing, holds it with the 25, and head in her hands. Miho, wow, she gave it everything on that go. Really is. Well, there it is, confirmation of it, 54.4 for Miho Nonaka. Good score from her. Jessie Pilz ahead with 69. And we're waiting our next set of athletes here as the time goes.
Switzerland may have just heard that because it was a moment.
So Brooke is into the 5 straight away. She's having a good round, a brilliant round for Brooke. Hits the slap and holds the swing.
Yeah, different to Miho. Miho was catching a toe hook. Both methods really impressive.
Now she's got this run to the left to do first though. Kicking on the wall. Miho launched, she even hit that hyper hole behind her when she made that swing. The queue of people when I came into the stadium, it's like she'd walked up and sat there for hours to watch this moment. And we all are enjoying Brooke Raboutou's performance here. She goes once more, holds it this time. Matches the high zone. She starts the swing with 59 seconds left.
Important to note, she's starting the swing. Her right foot is on the slippery part of a huge no-texture hold. Unfortunately, not sticking it that time.
Falls on that attempt though. Needs to still just make sure of these moves. Once more she's in.
A great effort to stick that with all the pressure mounting up, with the clock ticking down. She is going to give absolutely everything that she can for this last attempt. Unfortunately.
Up into the press. She'll be into the 5 on the first time.
Really smooth through that lower section.
Makes the jump as well.
You could see that she hit that first hold in the paddle, had so much time. She was so solid. She looked in a very comfortable position.
She'd like another top here to add to that one she's already got. That method Brooke used, the bump bump with the left hand.
The bump bump.
Did qualify for this final without even climbing a lead wall. So a lot can be decided in this Boulder round. Oriane goes again, hits the right hand, can't hold it and comes down.
And there is no doubt in my mind, but she is not yet able to have another attempt at that last move, and there is now only 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, the time is ticking down. Oriane's getting cheered on. I don't think she's going to have time. She even looked back at the clock. That was almost a mistake. 3, 2, 1. She can't make the match.
Nothing you can do about what routes are put on the wall, what boulders are put on the wall. You have to be prepared for absolutely anything as a competition climber. These athletes will train relentlessly and really, really try and work on their weaknesses to make sure that they can climb anything that's put in front of them. So it's great to see I stick that first move.
Yeah, she's in now, but comes up with the right hand.
But we do see her falter on more dynamic styles at times. The fact that she's able to work those weaknesses and do moves like that just shows how much she is going away and working on those weaknesses. And she's setting up for the paddle again now. Much better from her on her first attempt. Seen something and maybe not said anything. She's like, is that right? Maybe thinking it's a red herring, or maybe just wanting to keep it to yourself. We are competitors after all. But generally you'll see teammates try things the same way. And then I here making an adjustment.
You hear that scream from the audience member. I flicks with the left leg. Sorry, Janja flicks with the left leg.
Almost sticking that first hold there without needing to pull through. She did, but she's looking in cruise mode as she eyes up this last move. There's a lot going on here, so all eyes on Janja as she decides which method she wants to try.
So already on 84.9, 3 tops and that high zone. Misses with the left. Yeah, we talk about that quite a lot actually, how expressive they can be, and Oriane for sure is one of those. Mori, maybe a little bit more poker face, but every athlete responds differently to different situations. It's really cool for us to watch. Janja again hits the right hand, campusing over. Power moves from her, and there she takes a breath, and so do we in the commentary box. There's a lot here.
The crowd ramping up. They are excited to see this. We've seen the top of this, so we know it's possible. It's not like we haven't seen it, so we know that Janja Garnbret is capable of doing this boulder.
Oh, much closer with the left hand. Almost runs off the stage to judge. Yeah, it was really strong from her. She gets in between the brushes and the brushes leave. Get out of the way, guys. Janja's on the warpath. 49 seconds. Hits the right hand.
Shoos the brushes out of the way, but they clearly did a good job for her because she stuck it that time.
Yeah, it worked. Right, here we go. 27 seconds. The crowd are just roaring her through this last move. She sets herself up. Can she do it? Not that time. Says goodbye, and let's have a look at the scores on the doors as we finish Boulder. Janja Garnbret leading the way with an 84.9, but Raboutou 69.8, Jessie after that 69, Oriane Bertone with a 54.7, Miho Nonaka 54.4, close between those two. Mori on 44.5, Annie Sanders down in the 20s, 24.6, Jain Kim at the bottom. She'll need to do a lot on the lead wall. 14.1 is her score.